Hi, I'm Rick.
And I'm Sharon.
We are Cargo On.
Cargo Conversion Building Camp.
Wait, don't go anywhere. We just like to have a little fun in the beginning. But if you want to see some really cool cargo camper conversions, hear from the builders, see some tours, and see some places we've camped and some crazy adventures, then you are definitely on the right channel. Hi everyone. We have another virtual tour today from a guy named Joe. He's got an awesome cargo camper, and we're going to get right to it.
COVID project 2020 to 2021. It's done. Hi, my name's Joe Larrickers. This was my COVID project 2020 to 2021, mostly 2021. It's my cargo trailer conversion from a 14-foot cargo trailer to a 14-foot RV vehicle. So as I mentioned, we went with a 14-foot trailer based on our gear. We have a tandem boat that slides in the center that I'll show a little bit later. But that boat needed to be accommodated, so we went with 14-foot, which is a perfect length for us. We went with a 6.5-foot interior height and a 7-foot width. As far as dividing the trailer into sections, we went with a back section of storage, front section of livable space. And as far as the structure, we went with tandem axles necessitated by our relatively heavy load. You'll see we pretty well loaded this thing up. So I went with a double door for our storage area. I went with a double door for a lot of different reasons, but mostly to create the outdoor shower idea I had for my wife and I, since we don't have an indoor shower in this build. My wife and I carry a kayak with us when we go, and so everything in this build was centralized around storing the kayak, which is a straight slide through for 14 feet to the very front of the build. I did make a little porthole area that comes off of here and goes in place right there, and I'll show that to you in just a second. Most of our storage is built around, this is our kayak material that goes inside the kayak. This is our cords, and ultimately our stabilizers go in here. I elected not to put my stabilizers on permanently because of some of the lower clearance that these travel trailers have. I think that's a good decision. It does not have the clearance of a regular RV. I have my chairs here and my paddles here, kind of on a unique system there. Everything has its own way. This is the tools, some of the straps, an extra tent, and then some of our outdoor shower material here, some additional tools, toilet paper, some additional kayak supplies, as well as bike supplies that go there, and then a table and chairs there that kind of complete our storage department. And this is our outdoor shower idea, which is admittedly not perfect. However, it's very functional when you're in a place without a good shower, or in an emergency type situation, or just a shower down with a swimsuit on at a lake or a river. Since my wife and I kayak quite a bit, we get in our kayak clothes and then just shower down out here pretty easily. I put a rubberized framework and cemented this with glue to the door frame. It's just a simple covering there. I put some extension rods out here for towels. And then of course there's these curtains, which I'll say goodbye and hello. Pretty good privacy. My controller is here. All of my plumbing goes into the inside, and there might be a little pressure left on this. Not very much, but you can see how that basically works to take a shower. And that's pretty much the extent of my outdoor shower, with the exception of this boat hole plug that I've now put in place, which is basically just a simple movement of that from the side of the boat hole slide to the back here, and still have to modify that last piece to put it on, but it's strapped in place. This also gives insulation from the air conditioning, as does this wall to the interior, which is also a sandwiched insulated material. And we have our washcloths here and shower gear here, and essentially I set this up so that this does not get water into the interior. And we've been pretty happy with that as a emergency shower or a temporary shower in state parks in Texas. Might not work in colder climates. So I decided to do my entire trailer conversion on 120 volts. In your standard campgrounds, they have 30 amp circuits. They come on a standard 3-prong offset. For my receiver end, I used a 3-prong circular offset, which is also 120 volts, and then converted it with this short connector to the standard that you plug in 3-prong offset that goes to most standard outlets. That'd be a 30 amp 120 volt circuit, and 30 amps was just a little bit iffy as far as running everything at the same time inside this trailer, but I did my shopping to keep my amperage use under 30 amps, and we haven't blown a circuit breaker yet, so pretty happy with my choice with 120 volts. So this is the ugliest area of the inside of my trailer, but I'm showing you this just to show you how I wired in my electric here. As you can see, it's just a standard 120 volt 4-circuit box. You can buy at McCoy's for $100 or thereabouts. You may be able to see here that my inlet is a little bit shabby the way that I siliconed it in, probably overdid it. And this is my main inlet to the 120 volt box. Something about the way that I ran this electric, you can see these exposed wires here and a couple other places. But then I ran all of my lines that show up outside of this small bathroom area are all enclosed. And what I did was I ran 14-3 down this line and put these electric plugs in. And the reason I put these electric plugs in that way is so that I didn't have any buried electric lines, and if anything got cut or moved around or jolted around, all I have to do is unscrew this from the wall and then ultimately do my electrical repairs. That's the case here for the air conditioner. It's the case here for the lighting, which is all plug-in. And then again here for the TV, there's a power strip that runs entirely down this side. Makes it extremely simple to run it down one side that you're not going to interrupt. I also, with this Minisplit, did not have to interrupt the ceiling at all, so the roof is completely intact in this 14-foot trailer conversion. And there are no holes in the ceiling to worry about leaking or anything like that. Additionally, probably the best addition was our switch system. Our switch system is based on these remote outlets that are run by this controller, and basically the lights go off and on with the punch of a button. And you can see that's the case for all the lighting in the entire trailer, with the exception of the solar light outside, which just goes on when with motion. Additionally, we have dimmer switches on this one, so when I turn down that light, I can turn this down to a low level light. We only have one other light in this outfit, and it is a small circular light. Some of y'all have these at your home, but it plugs right in here, and you can clearly see the function is so that you can see where you're going when you go to the toilet in the middle of the night. that's all the electric I got to show you, because I have nothing in the walls whatsoever. So this is my plumbing system. Comes in from the outside right here with a regular city water hookup. I do not have a gray water tank in this conversion. I don't have a black water tank in this conversion. In this conversion, we just run off of city water. There's no holding tank, although ultimately there may be one. Again, in this room, I just insulated the lines. This is all PEX plumbing, coming into a 2.5 gallon hot water heater, which, believe me, is plenty for washing the dishes and showering for about 20 to 30 minutes if you wanted to, with the outdoor shower. My plumbing runs down to the sink, and my sink is here. When this stuff is out of here, it looks a lot better. But this sink is our main sink for the bathroom and for washing dishes, although we have a separate basin for rinsing. And my gray water from the sink goes into this container, which is just clearly plumbed in with a P-trap standard stuff. I obviously have that strapped in place to hold that in place during movement. I'm really pretty happy with that part of the setup. As far as the main living area, I did want to hide the plumbing lines. So as far as the rest of the plumbing outside of this small area, which I consider to be the ugly room with the toilet, etc., and this toilet is basically just a camp toilet that has two separate sections. It does have a nice little flip down here. I'm very happy with this Thetford so far. It has a great capacity. We could go a week and a half with this toilet without having to empty it. And very simple to empty into a black water, but self-contained is nice. In addition to that, I wanted to cover all of the plumbing and the electric from here on out. My plumbing going to the back to the outdoor shower is encased in this little triangular compartment here. Also very easy to access, change out, replace, holds it in place nicely. And I did not have to run it inside the walls, where if any motion of the trailer or any incident with the trailer ended up with a puncture in the lines, I would have to tear the trailer apart in order to get to it. I think that's the wisest choice I've made on this trailer with moving parts. In the past, obviously, having made more traditional things, we run them inside the walls, but this moving trailer, I was concerned about these being accessible, and so they're easily accessible, and I don't think completely unsightly. Okay, I'd like to show you the entire interior of my build currently, and you can see we went with an elevated bed here as an alternative to a ladder going up here, which would have gotten in the way of my boat slide, which slides right through here. My kayak perfectly fits right down the middle during running. We built a elevated bed and put these steps in for getting up into the elevated bed. Makes it very easy for me and my wife, and we're 50 plus, so we got a few things that creak when we move, but that makes it super simple. I made a little grab bar up there of the same variety. I got these from a Jeep, actually, and salvaged them. They're just Jeep steps. Our bed, originally I made this platform for a queen bed. We converted this to a full bed so that we could have a little extra storage on the back and put in that back wall, which is ideal for insulation reasons. The bed has a little fan there. I've set this up the way that we run it. When we run this, I have these straps and hooks in here that hold things in place. This is my microwave, that when we get to where we're going, it goes up on this shelf right here. We went with a electric cooktop for cooking. We also, in the back storage area, have a propane cooker if we want to cook outside. I have just a small cutting board here. We keep all our electronics in here. All my wife's personal grooming supplies go in there. We went with these storage containers for seats. I looked at a lot of different options for seating. A traditional sofa wouldn't work for us, or love seat, and so we went with these storage containers. We went with two types. They're both from Classic Elite Furniture, and as you can see, these are a little bit longer. They're 32 inches by about 16 inches. They have complete storage in them, and they're weighted for 300 pounds. I can literally jump up and down on these. The nice thing about this is when our son stays with us, or any visitors stay with us, we pull these down for footstools. We also pull them down to extend the bed into a full length single bed. We bought these at IKEA. Found a few cute things on IKEA that fit our system fairly well. I did make a table. We have this down most of the time when we're camping. It's a very simple design. It just slides down like this, and you can sit on either side and eat. That middle compartment comes out, slides down the boat hole, and so we can sit on either side with our feet underneath if we want, but most of the time we just sit with our feet out here. And as you can see, this is fairly comfortable to get in and out of and eat right here. I went with all Seville Classics furniture. These are basically, as you can see, look like and actually are for a wood shop or a shop type application, but all the doors and drawers lock, which is ideal for this type of setting. And so that was a big part of making this choice. We designed the trailer so this size would fit in here, and then there's a one behind the cameraman as well. All Seville Classics type furniture, and we're extremely happy with that choice. We went with a TV here, mounted, and that's the way it is when we run it, but it tips out any way you want. It can be seen from outdoors, but mostly we watch it when we're sitting down here resting at the end of the day or in the bed at night. And I have a lightning to HDMI converter here. So this area right here is where we put the iPad or phone that we're running our movies off of when we're watching movies at night on that television. So our refrigerator is full size. Well, full size for an apartment or a small apartment, I guess. It's 7 cubic feet. This was one of the upgrades my wife and I really wanted, because we wanted a refrigerator we could take on the road that actually just really works as a fridge and a freezer. It runs off 120 volt. This only pulls 3 amps. Obviously the freezer works very well. We actually have it plugged in 24/7 now. And the refrigerator's fully stocked. We have hangers for dishcloths. We have a small wine rack there. These are actually the bars that go to the outdoor shower. And of course, plenty of storage here. As far as storage, my wife keeps her clothes here, I keep my clothes here, and the dirty clothes is in the middle. This is towels, and that's books to read. In addition to that, we have the small bar here, and put that in. That's an IKEA find as well. This was also an IKEA find, which is perfect for us. There's a couple of other things we put in here. Curtain rod that opens up the curtains that cover the entire length of both of those windows. I drink coffee every morning, and this is my coffee cup holder. My wife's coffee cup holder, since she's of the same volition, is over in that corner and is very similar. As far as the interior, everything's insulated with 1-inch insulation. This trailer came with 16-inch center metal framework, and so I stripped all the plywood off of the sides, put the foam insulation panels in, even put them in the groove in between the metal studs, and then covered covered it back up with the same plywood, which happened to be for this Commander type 3/8 inch plywood on the walls, and then covered that with wainscoting type paneling. Obviously ran my electric inside of these cross pieces and painted the place in mostly black and white and gray. So this was the most difficult decision we had to make on this trailer, and it was how to incorporate a V-nose trailer, which we definitely wanted for pulling capacity, into a relatively short framework in the front, and in order to put in a mini split. We decided on a mini split. There are a whole bunch of other options that are easier. We did not want anything on the top for fear of leaking over time. I just didn't want any problems with leaks. We did not want anything as noisy as our other trailer that we built with a window unit. And these are extremely quiet, extremely efficient. The other reason we chose this is because it draws 8 amps as a rule, and we have a 30 amp limit with 120 volt service to this trailer. So this is our external unit. It's 9,000 BTU, which is plenty, believe me, plenty. This thing cools down in minutes from our hot 100-degree sun today. This is the exterior unit. My son put together this framework, which we welded. We screwed the feet down, but I didn't think that was stable enough, so we put this board over the top and latch it down with these screws right here to hold it in place and to keep the outside unit from moving very much. I was worried about a couple of different things. I was worried about the bends in the copper tubing going to this thing, and around in this corner you can see it bends pretty acutely, but my friend Mark Hodgkiss at Beeville Mechanical was able to rig out this so it looks good, and also so that it's fairly solid. I have literally gone over railroad tracks at 50 miles an hour and bounce this thing as much as I possibly can without having any fractures inside or outside. And this is the inside of the mini split. If the audio is working fairly well, I think you can tell that this is extremely quiet and is well worth the effort. We get a lot of air conditioning out of this unit with minimal noise, which is a big thing in a small space, as anybody in a small space will tell you. Admittedly, this is a little ugly running around here, and eventually I'll encase this in some sort of framework that doesn't look quite so ugly. I will tell you this, I ran all the electric and all of the copper tubing for this mini split interior unit, not in the wall again, but where I can reach it, and I ran it through the floorboards and then up as far as, or through the floorboards for the electric and then up to the unit. And then for the actual copper tubing, I ran just outside of this wall unit in the front, but encased it, as you saw in the outdoor part of the unit. Real happy with this. It's a Pioneer, well-known brand. This is a 9,000 BTU unit again, runs on 120 volts. Eventually we'll upgrade this door frame to a true RV door, but this works for now. And this is a completely removable mosquito netting that's self-adherent and adheres in the middle.
So Joe, you did a great job with your camper. It's very unique. I've never seen anyone put a boat in their camper. That's amazing. I like the bed being raised. There's just so much good stuff about it. It turned out really nice. Thank you, Joe, for letting us feature your video on our channel. That's a wrap, everyone. You know what to do if you like this video.
You all come back now, you hear?